So, UFC 300 transition to UFC 301. A pumping event to a main event that's main selling point is the co-main with Jose Aldo with blue shorts. I hate to be brutally honest, but we got to call a spade on this one. Now, don't get me wrong. Jose Aldo, legend. I use his alter ego on UFC 5 when I'm fighting in featherweight just because he's such a stud. Like that prime Jose Aldo from the WEC days. Or no, was it Strikeforce? No, I think it was WEC. But like way back when he was younger. That Jose Aldo, and even the Jose Aldo, if present, is a legend. Because going featherweight runs, you lose the title but still stay near the top. Go down to bantamweight, do a title shot, but still stay near the top. If that ain't Godfather of MMA status, I don't know what is, man. That's legit. But it does remind me, because who do we got in this main event? Alexander Pantoja versus Steve Erceg. How do I see that going? I think that flyweight just doesn't have a whole lot of effort put into it for the UFC matchmakers. Because I do like Steve Erceg. I just think personally, if you want to guarantee or make the matchup compelling, he's got to fight some of those dudes in the top 5 without just launching him into a straightaway fight with Pantoja. Because, of course, he's got some pretty dominant finishes. But you got guys like Kai Kara France that Pantoja could fight. You got guys like that one Russian wrestler. And that's like the problem is the fact that I have to say that one Russian wrestler just kind of proves that flyweight's kind of not really what it was. And it's really sad. Because I think I've made this point in a video about the current state of flyweight before. But it has a trouble. You had Brendan Moreno, who was super marketable with his Legos. You had Henry Cejudo, the king of cringe. And then, of course, you had Mighty Mouse, which everybody loved, but he was like that boogeyman. No one was beating him until Henry narrowly beat him. And then Demetrius Johnson said, hey, I'm not getting treated fairly. Rightfully left. And that's like the curse of flyweight, dude. So, obviously, I try to give benefit of the doubt. There's a reason they're doing this. I just can't see it. I think there's other people who should get a title shot first before Steve Erceg, but it's just like this could go a lot of different ways. But no one really knows who Steve Erceg is yet. And no one really knows who Alexander Pantoja, because Pantoja doesn't make enough noise or publicity. In fact, honestly, it's almost like you could tell Pantoja might move up to 135 after he cleans out the division, and then who's the champion at 125? Who's getting people talking about flyweight? It's just the writing's on the wall, like how we're gonna keep this show going. And I'm pro flyweight. I want to see it do good. But even then, it's like we got Anthony Smith, and Anthony Smith's all right, but the way he's been talking about himself, and just like you could tell he's got a chip on his shoulder, he's really caused his stock to drop. So it's almost like you look at this card as a whole, and it's like Jose's the main pillar of salvation. And I guess it's something, but even though I think Jose Aldo's got a decent shot at winning because his last fight was against Merab, which he lost via decision. I mean, he still did pretty good, but he was fighting Merab. I just don't know how it's going to pan out for him. And is he going to stick around, or is this just his last return fight? Man, I don't know. But it just kind of seems like, yeah, this is the burnout phase. And it just reminds me, like let me finish with a flashback to the good old days of college. There was a concert at the beginning of the year. 303 was not headlining. Metric was. And Metric is a really not a ASU style music at all. Maybe more like NAU with all their psychedelics and stuff like that. But ASU they were about partying in 303 and all that stuff. So 303 comes on, And then after they get off, they say they're looking for a house party. Half of the stadium walked out on Metric because they were trying to party with 303. 303 is UFC 300. And UFC 301 is Metric. And it's almost like, yeah, if you just are very devoted to the sport, then yeah, I could see you watching this fight. But if you're just one of those guys who's like going for the popular stuff, you're probably checking out after 300, saying, I need a break. Or I'm going to go party with UFC 300. However, even though it's not really Jose's fault, you could blame that 300 was just this amazing slamming event. So it's hard to follow up on that. Fair enough. But I do want to say, Jose Aldo, thank you for coming back. I look forward to watching the fight. And, yeah. Cheers.